Hello there. So today I want to read you a little story about a time that a Franciscan missionary accidentally cursed somebody. Necessary context is they've been staying in this Huron-Wendat village for a couple of months now, and they're starting to get a bit of a reputation as being magicians, which they're also kind of encouraging. It happened one day that I went to see one of our greatest friends among the savages, a very good man whose disposition was rather that of a good Christian than that of a savage. As I was talking to him, and was intending to show him our seal that he might admire the image, which was that of the Holy Virgin, a girl stealthily got hold of it and threw it aside in the ashes of the fire, thinking to get it out later for herself. I was distressed at the seal having been thus stolen from me, and suspecting the girl, I said to her, "You are laughing now and making fun of the seal you have stolen from me, but understand that if it is not returned to me, you will be weeping tomorrow and will soon be dead. For God has no love of thieves, but punishes them." This I said simply to frighten her, and make her give up the booty. And this she did in the end, and I myself took it out from where she had thrown it. The next day, at 10 o'clock, having gone again to see my savage, I found this girl in tears and ill, tormented by severe vomiting. I was surprised and grieved at seeing her in this state, and asked what was the cause of her sickness and tears. They told me that this was the evil I had foretold for her, and that she was on the point of having herself conveyed to the tobacco nation whence she came, in order not to die away from her own country. Then I comforted her, and told her to have no more fear. She would not die this time, nor be ill any longer, because the seal had been recovered, but that she must mind another time not to be wicked, and to steal no more, because that was displeasing to Jesus. Then she asked me again whether she should not die, and after I had assured her, she remained completely cured and comforted. What's happened here is that because the missionaries have got a bit of a reputation for being magicians, the girl took the sort of warning about the sin of stealing as a curse, and she basically scared herself into having a panic attack at the thought of this. It's a really weird sensation having a panic attack, particularly if you're not familiar with it, you don't know what it is. So this priest he scared the bejesus out of her. So the priests and the missionaries, they had this sort of reputation for being magicians, essentially. I just sort of assumed that this reputation had come about for obvious reasons. You got these guys in the big black robes, and they're waving the little golden magic wands, and they're uttering their spells and incantations in languages unknown to even the Europeans, and they give you this magic red potion, and they splash you with the little magic water, and this, that, and the other. All of this priest stuff is very magician-coded, right? But what I hadn't noticed until kind of recently is that often these missionaries are encouraging this perception of them intentionally. We've got God on our side. We're going to claim any miracles we can in order to persuade you of God. So previously to this encounter I just narrated, this fellow Sagard and his other priests in the village, they'd been asked to pray for good weather so that the village could get to managing their fields. The priests got together and they prayed, and lo and behold, good weather. And the priests took credit for this. Yeah, we did this. Jesus did this because he's on our side. This sometimes led the priests into bad positions. So the one fellow, I think it's Isaac Joe? I don't know how to pronounce French words. One of the Canadian martyrs. He was down among the Mohawks, and he was preaching and building this reputation for himself as a magician. We have powers, we can do this, that, and the other thing. He leaves, and then the village is hit by smallpox. He comes back a couple of months later, a lot of people are dead, and someone just walks up and splits his head open with an axe. You did this. This sort of misrepresenting yourself as a magician, it had sort of risks associated with it. I got a bit of an addendum to this. Superstition was sort of the rule of the day back then. I read this one account of Galinée and Dollier, two missionaries who were looking for the Ohio River. They had a lot of trouble going along the Lake Erie. They got trapped in winter, they lost their canoes. A lot of just really boring and mundane inconveniences, but they had a real struggle getting along Lake Erie. The native people they'd encountered had told them about this standing stone on the Detroit River that was a god of the river or whatever, and that they should make offerings to this standing stone. the Frenchmen are like, well, what the heck, we're priests. We don't believe in any of this. We're not going to engage in this devil worship like these Indians around here. Then they have all of this trouble, and they get to this standing stone, and it's like, you did this, you did this, you did this. This thing is the home of demons. We will destroy this home of demons. And they spend like a week tearing down this stone statue with just their hatchets and lugging every single piece of it into their canoes to take out into the middle of the river to just dump, to make sure that this home of demons can never exist again. They're absolutely convinced that they've been cursed by this rock. People believed a lot of stuff back then. And you sort of... I could talk endlessly, is the thing. I can talk endlessly. So we know that, like, a sugar pill can act as a painkiller. The brain can trick itself into thinking, well, I'm not in pain. And then the panic attack is the sort of inverse of that. The brain can trick itself into thinking there's something very, very wrong. The role of the magician is to trigger these two sort of mental responses. The faith healer, that's a perfect example. The faith healer is just a peddler in placebos. The same sort of thing with Sagard and this girl. She believes that he has the power to curse her, so he has the power to curse her. That's a long enough tangent. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for listening. I hope you found this interesting.